Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inspired with Christopher Williams. I'm your host, Christopher Williams, navigator and motivator with you on a path to accomplishing your goals and achieving your dreams. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the love and all the support for the show. I truly appreciate it. I know those of us here at the show truly appreciate it. To know that we're providing you with good quality material, it means a lot to us, and it also gives us fuel to continue to push forward as far as innovation goes, and as far as bringing you new and exciting things, as far as interaction and all of that stuff. We're very motivated because of the love we get from you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Facebook.com/Williams Inc., OneWilliamsEnterprises.com, and Christopher at OneWilliamsEnterprises.com, where you can connect and find me. I'm not trying to hide from you at all. You can always find me at your fingertips, smart devices, anything you have. Hey, use what you have. I'm there. Let me know how you feel about the show, how you feel about the content. And we're always willing to take that information, and we're always willing to apply it to what we're currently doing. We're going to continue right on with our customer feedback series. Like I said in the last episode, those of you guys who tuned in, which is I'm sure most of you, we have this series where we're kicking it off. Customer interaction. We're taking a lot of these comments that you guys are giving us and these ideas, and we're basically using them as our subject matter for the next couple of shows. So we're very excited about that. This is episode 2, and we're just very excited to bring you this information that comes directly from you. That's the cool part about it. You connect with me, you leave it to me. Hey, I take it and I listen. I listen. And I'm able to use that to bring you direct feedback and direct answers to the questions that you have. We're going to continue with the subject matter from the last show, talking about entrepreneurs in the workplace. If you remember, we identified, just laid the foundation for what entrepreneurship is, plain terms. And we identified a lot of benefits of being an entrepreneur in the workplace. Despite what you may hear, there are a lot more benefits than there are, issues that, you typically hear on a regular basis. So we're going to continue with that subject matter, and we're going to jump right in there. And, hey, we're going to wrap this thing up, and I'm going to give you some great information that you can apply and that you may be able to give somebody else. You never know. Somebody else may need to hear what you know or what you've learned today. So going back to last episode, we mentioned about the creativity portion. The things that you bring to the table as an entrepreneur on your team, at your workplace. And you really want to make sure that you remember these things, because they're things that are going to kind of take you to that next level, not only in your entrepreneurial endeavors, but also in your 9-to-5 job. So one of the things that you learn by being an entrepreneur, once you have identified yourself to be that entrepreneur, you want to make sure, like we said last episode, that your job role is one that fosters your creativity. You want to make sure that you're in a position where you can be able to continue to think outside the box. You want to make sure that you're in a position where you can continue to expand your horizons and use those gifts that you have already, but also use the gifts that are going to come with you taking on that mode of an entrepreneur. And sometimes once you realize that, it may mean that you now need to take your talent to another position within your 9-to-5. You may have hit your plateau with what you're doing, and you may need to take that talent elsewhere. So what we're going to continue to do right now is give you those things that you want to do that's going to help take you to that next level in entrepreneurship as far as the mental capacity goes. So in addition to making sure that you're in the right role, you want to also try to take on leadership opportunities. Okay? If there's a project or a new topic or a new product that you guys are trying to implement, or if there's some type of group that are going to be the first group to do something, make sure that you have your name within that those list of considerations, because you want to make sure that you get in the mold of being that leader, right? Because when you are an entrepreneur, you are it. You are that one person. You are the leader of your company. So you want to make sure that while you're in the workplace, you're using these opportunities to not only help push your company to the next level, but you also want to make sure that you're there to kind of promote yourself within your endeavors. So take those leadership opportunities, take lead on those projects that come up. Make sure that you let it be known that you want to be one of the first to jump into anything that's new and innovative. As it relates to your 9 to 5 job, that lets your current employer know that hey, they're willing to step out there and take that responsibility. But when it comes to you, that also gets you into the mode of being the top dog, so to speak. But also getting you into the mode of how that process works. There are a lot of there are a lot of lessons that you learn when it comes to leading projects, when it comes to leading up, initiatives or anything like that. And unless you take these opportunities as they come, you will never learn those things. So not only take that initiative, but also make sure that you're getting into that mindset of being the boss or the owner and not just the employee. Now, when you're the employee, you have a lot of actually safety. Believe it or not, there's a lot of safety that comes with that. You do as you're told, or as you're dictated to, or as your management tells you. And as long as you do that, then you're fine. But you don't have to worry about a lot of the the behind the scenes stuff that goes on to that decision that's being made. But when you start to get into the mindset of being the boss, being the owner, you start to really see exactly beyond what's going on right now. And you want to make sure that you're getting into that mode of getting to think beyond what you're currently working on or what you're currently dealing with. So start working on mentally becoming the boss or the owner instead of just the employee. Another thing that you want to start doing is treat your job like it's your company. Okay? That goes back to that ownership piece that we've been talking about thus far. But start to treat your job like it's your company. Treat the company that you work for as if it was your own, right? Start thinking strategically about a lot of things that you hear that are going on the day to day. If it were your company, what would you do? If it were your company, would you do things the same way? Or if you wouldn't, what would you do differently? What would you change if you could? Not only that, as it goes back to making sure that you kind of get yourself in the mold of being the owner instead of the employee, but it also allows you to maybe foster more of that creativity that we've also been talking about as well. All of these things are things that are going to just bring you that much more benefit, that much more confidence about being an entrepreneur and going into that direction of entrepreneurship. Also, as you're going through these things, just make sure that you start to truly foster that sense of, thinking and seeing the big picture instead of the small picture. A lot of things that go on behind the scenes that go on at your company or at your 9 to 5, they take a lot of thought. They take a lot of time to go in. Take a lot of time goes into creating things. A lot of time goes into making these big decisions that you tend to think are just kind of split second things. So just make sure that whatever big decision or big idea that comes across for you, sometimes ask a few more questions, right? Well, how did this come about? What does this mean long term? What does this mean for us within a couple months? Or is there a plan for follow up or something like that? You want to make sure that your employer knows that you have these things in mind. You're not just thinking about the right now, but that you're also thinking about the future. That'll help you continue to think strategically more so than you probably thought before. Now, as we continue to, think about these things, we want to make sure that you have an understanding of what's going to go into this on your part, other than just a mindset, okay? As you already know, entrepreneurship, it's a career, but it's also a lifestyle, right? And being that you're doing this in conjunction with having a 9 to 5, you're going to probably be pulling a lot of long days, okay? In addition to working your 9 to 5 and putting in the effort to make sure that you're a standout employee, you're going to also have to pour in the same amount of time into your brand, into your business. Part of that goes into creating your own brand, right? You can also do this while at your workplace. That's something that you want to kind of keep in mind as well. Start kind of tailoring your work product. Start kind of putting your own spin on things if you can. because that's going to make sure that as you start putting energy and time into your own business, you're going to already kind of have that, that milieu, so to speak, or that branding piece down packed. But it's going to take some long hours. You're going to have to devote just as much time in that as you devote into your 9 to 5. But it's okay because you can do that, right? And you have me here to help you. Remember, Facebook.com/Williams Inc., OneWilliamsEnterprises.com, and Christopher at OneWilliamsEnterprises.com. I'm always here, always available. Let me know if you need any help with anything, and I'm here to help you. And also this part as well. Sometimes you need somebody to bounce ideas off of to make sure that you're going in the right direction. So I'm definitely here to help you out with that. Another idea that you want to start incorporating into your brand, as we've been talking about, is make sure that you start to really look at the idea of the risk factor, okay? In addition to long days, you're going to have to really think of ideas, come up with different solutions to issues you may not have thought you had. But there's going to be that level of risk that you may not have, foreseen before. But the thing about entrepreneurship that you're going to slowly start to learn is that risk is not necessarily the same as a calculated risk. Okay, calculated risk is a little different. You've done your research. You've looked into the topic at hand. You've looked into the decision that you're thinking about making, and you've already kind of foreseen the ins and outs, and you've already looked into this as much as you could. So when it comes to jumping out or jumping into this idea, even though it is a risk because you've never done it before or no one else has maybe thought of it before, you've done enough research so that you've already foreseen any potential outcomes that could come out of it. You've seen any things that could possibly come up or arise from it. So you've already truly mapped out things kind of without thinking about it. So it's not as much of a risk as it was. In addition to everything we've talked about today, just make sure, that you're really starting to take your time. Don't rush it too much, okay? You're in a good place because you already have the mindset for it. But take your time, learn as much as you can, gather as much information as you can. Even if that means kind of doing a little bit more digging in the industry that you're currently in. Remember, you're now thinking for two different opportunities. You have the opportunity at your job, but you also have the opportunity of being your own boss. So make sure you're getting into the idea of how to research, getting into the idea of learning more about the ins and outs, how to find that information. Because as an entrepreneur, part of the learning opportunity that you're going to have is how to truly find out information or other opportunities that are out there. We're going to take a few minutes to thank our sponsors for making the show possible, and we're going to come right back with more Inspired with Christopher Williams, so stay tuned.
10 years to learn the business. 10 years to make a name. 1 year on your own. It takes time to build a small business, but only 60 days to transform it with email marketing from Constant Contact. Sign up with Constant Contact and get 60 days of free email marketing to generate referrals, connect with clients, and build the business you've always wanted. Constant Contact. Start your 60-day free trial today.
Welcome back to Inspired with Christopher Williams. We want to thank our sponsors again for helping make the show possible. We truly are only able to bring you such a great show, due to their contributions and helping make the show possible. So we truly appreciate them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now for today's points of power. Today's points of power is focus on the past and you'll miss the present. Focus on the past and you'll miss the present. We all go through times where we remember when things were seemingly better than they currently are, right? I think a lot of people call them the good old days, right? When things just seemed a lot easier, things just flowed better. Sometimes you may have had more money. But for whatever reason, mentally we're able to go back on those times and we're able to remember sights, we're able to remember feelings, we're able to remember things that we truly feel better about than what we're currently going through. And ironically, we typically recall those moments when we're having bad times. But you have to remember, they're called the good old days for a reason, because they're old, right? They're old times, right? And to be honest, some of those times really aren't the exact times that we went through. We just think that they're better than what we're going through now, so we equate, feelings of happiness and bliss to those times when it may not have been as great as we're actually saying it was. It's just better than what we're dealing with now. But the thing to remember is that a lot of times when you're having those moments where it's just uncomfortable, it's not always that things are going bad. It's just that it's uncomfortable. You're kind of in that in-between moment where you're on the verge of moving in the right direction, but you're still kind of finishing up with something. The in-between time is what a lot of people call it. But growing and growth is happening now. Growing and growth is happening now. And the more we reflect and we reminisce on times where we feel or we currently think things are better, we're going to truly miss the opportunity, the lesson, and the value that the present is bringing us. We have to manifest what we're currently going through so that we can get the value out of it, so that we can put forth that energy to driving ourselves forward, right? We can't always reflect on how things used to be. A lot of times we reflect so much that we start to live in the past. We start to grab things that should have stayed in the past, right? These aren't necessarily the good old times either, right? We start to grab things and memories and people who have gone to glory and all this stuff. And we currently miss a huge bag of money just walking right past us. Well, we could have grabbed that and been on our way. So remember, growing and growth is happening now. Progress is happening now. But the more you go backwards, it's kind of like climbing up a ladder then stopping to go down. The more you stop to go down, you're wasting time when you could have been a lot further along than you probably should have been. So don't let past memories and past glory time, don't let that distract you from the success that you're currently working with now, right? There are so many opportunities that come our way that sometimes we truly have to harness it all in. We have to take time to really encompass what's going on. We have to truly take time to work at seeing the value in things. So you have to remember, hey, there's really no time to go backwards, because the more you go back, the more opportunities you're missing. So keep that in mind, okay? If you focus on the past, you'll miss the present. We want to thank everybody for tuning in to today's show. We've had a great time as usual. We made a lot of progress, and I truly know, I know that you guys have got something that you're going to be able to implement into your business plans, your business strategies, and into your personal life. That's what this show is about. It's multidimensional. You're going to be able to talk to a lot of different people about what you've seen. A lot of different people from all walks of life are going to be able to see the show and going to have a good time watching it. So always feel free to watch the previous episodes, bizlinks.tv. YouTube.com is where you can find a lot of the older episodes. You can leave comments on the older episodes. I check those too. So just let us know what you think. Facebook.com/Williams Inc. OneWilliamsEnterprises.com and Christopher at OneWilliamsEnterprises.com, where you can find me, comment, like, share, what have you. Just let me know how you're feeling, all right? But until next time, stay inspired.